Hello, everybody, and welcome to Happy Hour. At Happy Hour, we have our pregame show tonight for the biggest NBA games of the night. Tonight, we are previewing one of the biggest games of the year, I would say so far. The Los Angeles Lakers traveling to Philadelphia to battle the first place Philadelphia 76ers. So tonight, it is a battle of two first place teams in both conferences. The Sixers currently 12-6, Lakers coming in at 13-4. We are recording this on Tuesday, so we don't currently have the line. Dunny, what do you think the line will be tomorrow when this line comes out?
I think it's going to be a pick 'em straight up. You got best in the West, best in the East right now. I think that's the way it's got to be. I think maybe earlier in the day on Wednesday, the line may be favored for the Lakers, but I think eventually it will be a pick 'em closer to game time.
Yeah, I wrote down Sixers. I had to pick them to start, and then I changed it to Sixers -2, and then you picked a pick them, and you kind of just convinced me a little bit to change. I'm gonna say Sixers. I'm gonna say Sixers -1. I think the Sixers might maybe get the little bump for the favorite, but I wouldn't be surprised. Lakers get a lot of public money,
Mhm.
regardless going into that game. We'll make our picks at the end of this video, so you can see what we think the score will be compared to what the line is, and go from there. And we'll have the actual lineup with this video when it comes out too. But the big picture of this game is it's a possible finals matchup, right? Like that's really what the big picture is. It was my finals matchup last year. I picked didn't obviously work out that way, but possible finals matchup and Embiid versus AD. That's obviously always an exciting big man matchup. So when it comes down to it in this game, I think that's the biggest key matchup of the game is Embiid versus AD or versus the Lakers centers. Like you said in the podcast from today, Embiid was destroying the Celtics last week.
Yeah.
And the Lakers really, I mean, is AD going to be guarding Embiid? Does he have even the skill set to slow down Embiid the way Embiid's been playing? Because I really don't think Marcus Gasol is going to be able to do shit against Joel Embiid.
No, Marcus Gasol is irrelevant in this matchup. I think even like second team like Gasol on Dwight Howard, I'm gonna give Dwight Howard the benefit of the
That's
doubt
true.
there. I mean, he can space the floor a little better, and so maybe he'll take Howard out of the paint. But I mean, Gasol's jump shot isn't even what it used to be. So Marc Gasol, I think he can be left out of this conversation. I think that's the most we need to touch on. Big Marc Gasol there, but I do think AD can slow down Embiid. I mean, hopefully better than the Celtics could the last couple of games because I mean that was tough to watch. But I mean, we're talking about Anthony Davis, one of the elite defenders in this game, and he's just Embiid's going to have to deal with AD on the other end too. So I think whether it's AD wearing down Embiid because of what AD is doing on offense, or AD wearing down Embiid because he's an elite defensive player. I think this. I mean, Embiid could easily still get his. I don't think this is going to be AD locking him down, but it will definitely be a matchup to keep that everyone's eyes should already be on. You don't have to keep them on because you're going to be paying attention to this already.
So Embiid this year, right now, I mean, he's having a career year. He's averaging 27 points a game. He's averaging 55% from the field, which would destroy his previous mark from field goal percentage. And he's shooting 40% from three on threes a game. This has been a down year, on the other hand, for Anthony Davis. I believe he's only averaging 21 points a game right now, but that's been a lot just because LeBron has just come out like fire we heard all the talk about before the season, like, oh, maybe LeBron's gonna take it easy, like maybe he's not even gonna play games, he's gonna treat it like a preseason, like all this shit. LeBron has done I think he was fucking rope doping everybody,
Yeah.
trying to convince everybody that he wasn't gonna come out balling, and has just come out swinging. But AD right now, yeah, averaging 21 points. He's still averaging 9 rebounds a game, 3 assists. He's still got a field goal percentage of 52%. Obviously 34% from three, but I mean, no, like any other year, that's not his usual excellence, at least scoring the ball. But any other, you take that from your big, no matter what. Um, I just, I just wonder about this matchup just from the pure fact that Embiid's team is kind of built better for him to succeed than AD is kind of built for this year for the Lakers to succeed. Like I feel like AD last year with like a guy like Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee on that roster, he had more protection. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have as much defensive responsibility. And not that he's not an amazing defensive player on his own, but he still had less responsibility than he has this year. And maybe that's kind of the slip in his numbers. And this Lakers team's different from last year. Like they're built more around shooting. They are currently one of the best teams in the league in field goal percentage. They're fourth in the league. So their offense is an elite offense this year, which I don't think you would say that they would have been an elite offense last year. In fact, there were times last year where their offense looked downright bad. Some of those games just cluttered up and everything. It's a different team this year. And I wonder if that's kind of the thing that's been holding back AD, is that it's not playing to his strengths as much as LeBron's strengths this year.
Yeah, I think Davis, with him, we're just seeing some poor shooting games from him too, which is super not like Davis. And he even said it. He came out the other night and said, "I suck right now," flat out. And I mean, I don't think he sucks. Obviously, he's still having an outstanding numbers this season. But then the following night that he said that, he dropped 37.
Yeah.
And kind of, I mean, AD is going to do his thing. And I like the point that you make, that this is a very different Lakers team. He's playing with a whole new set of big men. And it's just going to take some getting used to.
Much
and
more
maybe
washed big men.
Yeah. and maybe he kind of thought that LeBron would take a step back this year. He's probably loving that he didn't. But I think this is just going to take some time to mesh. I mean, I don't think everyone was super gung-ho that the Lakers were going to, for certain win the NBA Finals at the beginning of last season. And they're still the number one seed in the West right now. But, we're kind of saying they definitely got some kinks to work out still. And I think it would all work itself out towards the end of the season. But this is the beginning of the season, and this will be a great matchup.
This is a juicy matchup for us at the beginning of the year, like to just see the measure. And I think this is more of a measuring stick for the Sixers. Obviously, like we know, like you said, the Lakers going into last year, we didn't know that they were going to be the favorites. This year, they are the clear favorites. I think they're still the clear favorites, and they're going to remain that way the way LeBron keeps playing. We talked about it on the podcast. LeBron is of guys that have taken at least 6 threes a game. He is second in 3-point percentage. That's just a part of the game he's never had before, and he's still doing his usual excellence.
Bron's hitting threes from the logo now.
Yeah, dude, he hit the logo.
He's never done that.
He hit it from the C in Cleveland last night. Like I was just in awe. It's so weird. Just
C stands for cold.
It's so weird seeing him like have that confidence, because this is a dude that used to like abhor taking threes. Like he would never want to take any threes. Yeah. And now he's just confident from everywhere. And that's obviously I think the biggest matchup we talked about was Embiid versus the centers, but the shooters on both these teams are incredible shooting the ball from three. The Lakers are a lot better at defending the three. The Lakers are third in opponent 3-point percentage. The Sixers are 18th. So if the Lakers get hot on the road here, this game could get out of hand really quickly, I think, for them. Yeah. What is a role player from either of these teams that you expect to kind of have a big night tonight?
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
There we go,
because that dude was disrespected last year. He was disrespected at the beginning of the playoffs. I think he was even disrespected this summer when the Lakers elected to keep him. And he's balling, dude. Like he's literally hitting the big shots that he needs to hit. He's a scorer. He came into this league as a scorer. Mm-hmm. In Detroit, he showed it. There was flashes. And then kind of he was just not talked about anymore because he wasn't a newcomer anymore and he wasn't really putting up fantastic numbers. But, I mean, he can thrive in a championship group like this, and he is. And like you said, Sixers only 18th in opponent 3-point percentage. This just seems like a game where if all the attention is on Davis and Bron, which I'm sure Doc will, draw up a defense where that is what they're trying to do, is shut down guys like AD and LeBron. That's where a guy like KCP thrives, and he'll have a lot of open looks, and it's just up for him to knock him down, and he's been doing that this year.
Yeah, he's like that starting lineup is pretty much entrenched at this point, and KCP is there. Like he's proven that he belongs there. Schroeder has been outstanding for them. He might be their third best player, like easily on this team. He's been the perfect guard that they needed on that Lakers squad. For the Sixers, I'm going with the Danny Green revenge game. No, I'm just kidding. There's no fucking shot. Danny Green's going to go like 0 for 6 from 3 in this game for 2 points. That's my prediction for Danny Green. I think Dwight, though, I think Dwight is going to come out. Dwight's going to come out balling. Like, not only think he's going to be pissed because they, like, there's no hard feelings. He won a championship.
Yeah, I was going to ask, if you leave a team after winning a championship, though, I don't think that can be considered a revenge game.
I'm counting it anyways, at least.
Okay.
So who is the more the revenge for then? Is it more Danny revenge or is it more Dwight revenge? Does Danny get more revenge?
I think it's more Danny, because people literally started a petition that he doesn't deserve a fucking championship.
That's true.
Like, way more of a revenge game for Danny. But I agree with you. I think if anyone will do better in the revenge game, I do think it will be Dwight.
Yeah, I just don't have any trust in Danny Green to do anything anymore. That's just from watching him last year because of that performance in the playoffs of the Lakers. But I think that Dwight's gonna have a big impact in this game just because, I mean, the backup center for the Lakers is generally Montrezl Harrell. He's not touching Dwight Howard on the boards at all.
No.
This game could be dominated on the boards by the Sixers. I just think they've got more. I think they could do what the Lakers did to everybody else last year and just bully ball the shit out of them in this game and make it ugly and put them in spots they don't want to be in. And Ben Simmons' defense, to me, though, is the X factor in this game because his defense on LeBron could change the game. I think he's going to have the LeBron. I mean, there's nobody else on this team who can come close to matching LeBron. He's the body type and kind of defender that can at least slow down LeBron and make him uncomfortable. There's nobody else that's going to be able to do that. So whatever he can do to LeBron James will have the biggest effect on just in general on the way the game plays. And I think that's always with the Sixers. Obviously their engine's Embiid, but Simmons is always the X factor. The games that he goes off, they look damn near unstoppable. So let's wrap it up here with a prediction. Dunny, what do you think the score is going to be tonight?
The Lakers have been in a lot of close games this year, and they've been here. So I'm going Lakers 100 even, Philadelphia at 94.
I like it. Little low scoring action there.
Yep.
We'll get the total in here too once we find that what out that is tomorrow. But I've got Lakers 110, Sixers 107. I think similarly to you, close game, a little bit higher scoring than you think, but I think it's gonna be a close game, and I think that at the end it's LeBron James making play. Like, because when it comes down to it, if it comes down to playmakers, I'm picking LeBron James over Ben Simmons or whoever else, Seth Curry, anybody else that's going to be making plays. Embiid at the end of games, it's still just like in the NBA now with big guys at the end of games, you never know. Except Jokic, who can hit shots off one leg from the corner like nothing. But I just think go to the closer. We'll go with LeBron here. But I think that people are going to be impressed. This might be the first time that people are watching the Sixers, like casual fans watching the Sixers in a big game. I think people are going to be impressed by what they see from this Sixers team compared to last versions.
I agree. Well said. And we're just going to have to wait and see for Wednesday night, baby.
Yes, sir. So that is the game of the night tonight. Thank you for joining Happy Hour at Happy Hour, the pregame show for Lakers Sixers, and tune into ESPN at 7:30 to see all the action go down there. Follow us here at Happy Hour Hoops 1. Follow Trainwreck Sports at Trainwreck Sports without the O. And look out for our pod tomorrow coming out, and listen to today's pod. And lots
of content for you folks.
Let's get it rolling.